Hello and welcome to the Plain English Finance Podcast, the podcast dedicated to helping you make smart financial decisions. I'm your host, Trey Bino, financial planner with TC Wealth Management and Aviso Wealth. For more information or to send in your questions, check out the show notes at treybino.ca/podcast. And if you want to learn more about me, start with episodes 1 and 2. Okay, let's get into the episode. This episode is I said that we were going to do a series on what we do. There's so many variations as to what I would recommend somebody do, but we follow my own advice. So the principles are there. So I think in this way, we will be able to cover the principles and people can adapt the principles to themselves.
Or at least have like a starting point if they want to just copy something.
Yeah.
If they want to, right?
Yeah.
Like to have something really clearly laid out.
Yeah, exactly. So the way that I thought we'd do this, you want to know why I wanted you to get a pen and paper?
Because I made that comment on the last one about doing your budget on a pen and paper. I don't know.
That was the net worth on a pen and paper.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
No, because I wanted us to draw it out. And I figured that if I can get you to draw it out without looking at what you're drawing and you get the same structure as I'm trying to explain, then I can't have done a terrible job of explaining it.
Okay, so you're going to explain something and I'm going to draw?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is like a fun activity.
Okay. So I'm going to explain, we're going to talk about what we do, but then I'm going to, we'll draw it out first, what the structure is. So this episode is around budgeting. So cash flow management. People don't like the word budgeting. Cash flow management is probably more appropriate because it's not when people think of budgeting, what do you think they think of?
They think of like when someone says, "Oh, I'm going on a diet." It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to be eating like plain chicken breast and broccoli every meal. You know, it's like like what's the word? It's not fun.
Yeah, there's negative connotations to
You're
it.
limiting yourself. That's what people think budgeting is. It's like, oh, I'm spending too much, so I have to like cut back.
Yeah. When I'll tell you now, for some people, the budget has been to spend more. So it's not a case of limiting yourself. It's none of that. It is, we're going to learn a system of how to manage finances. Whether that system leads you to bankruptcy or not, it's your decision. Okay. It's a case of this is the system you would use. And then when you have the system in place, then you can make adaptations to make it fit your personal finances, your personal financial situation. But I am going to teach you the system.
Okay.
So there's two things that I like to say, two sayings that I have. What are they?
Closing your eyes doesn't make the demons go away.
Okay, different one.
Oh, no decision is still a decision?
Different one. Tracking expenses.
Oh, tracking expenses, don't track expenses, set expenses.
That's the one.
I just said this when I was doing a little skit earlier, making fun of Trey in the podcast. This is like a side story. I don't know if anyone cares. You can skip ahead if you don't want to hear this, but I was like doing the intro. Hello and welcome to the Plain English Finance Podcast. My name is Trey Bino, certified financial planner. Well, I did it, and then I was going on pretending to be Trey, talking about exactly this. I was using all his quotes, and that was one I used. Anyway, not important.
Okay, so so I say, so that's one of them. Don't track expenses, set them, and that's really important to get your head around. The people that do budgeting, like in the traditional sense, I feel like it's just crazy. Like it's so much mental load to like, I get some, especially like my older clients, which I love them, but I don't know how they do it. Like they will come in with a book of like every single receipt and every single thing that they have spent, and they keep track of it with a pen and paper. And I don't know how it would drive me insane. And I'm a financial guy. Like I could never do that for my entire life. And I know that for some people, that's what they would have to do. If you're bad with money, that's like really bad. That's probably what you should do. But ultimately, there are better ways to spend your time and energy, in my opinion. And the only way you'll get to that point though and still be really responsible is if you have a system in place.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the system. So we're going to start with, how do I do this? Okay, we're going to start with a circle
Okay.
in the top middle of your piece of paper.
Okay.
So you have a A4 piece of paper and it's folded in half. Yeah.
Yep.
And we have it like vertically.
Yep.
So not, yeah. So in the top.
Hot dog, not hamburger. If anybody remembers that from school.
Is it-
Remember I told you about this like not long ago and you were like, what is that? I still, I don't know if anybody else did that in school. When they told you to fold a paper, they would say fold it hot dog or hamburger. And it was like vertical or horizontal. Anyway, I, if anyone knows, it's hot dog style.
Okay. 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 And then the top, let's say the top fifth of your page.
Wait, so do I draw the circle right now?
Yeah, but in the top fifth, so think about your page split into 5 sections, like
Okay.
vertically from top to bottom.
Yep.
And in the top fifth, you're just going to draw a circle in the middle of that fifth.
Okay.
Okay, so you should have a circle the size of like a toonie ish. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and then in that circle, I'm going to get you to write income. Okay. And then
Okay.
below that circle in the second fifth of the page, I'm going to get you to do another circle to the left of the page. Okay, in that same fifth.
Okay.
Okay, and
In
then
the same fifth, sorry.
in the second fifth.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
In the second fifth.
Same size, toonie.
Yep, toonie size. They'll all be toonie sizes. Okay. And then I'm going to get you to draw another circle directly below the income circle.
Okay.
And then another circle to the right of that circle.
Oops. My circle is a little wonky. Oops. Okay.
Okay. And then so you have the income circle. Then below that, I'm going to get you to write house.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't write it in the circle. I wrote it above the circle because you said below that.
Oh, okay. In the circle.
Okay.
In the circle, write house. See, this is why I can't see what you're writing so that we can clear this up and people can follow along.
Yeah.
Okay. In the circle to the right of the house, you're going to write, it would be spending.
Spending.
Yeah. Okay. And in the left circle, you're going to the furthest left circle, you're going to write, I don't know how you describe this easily. We're going to write net worth with an up arrow. Okay.
Net worth up. Well, up arrow. Sorry. Okay.
Okay. And then below the house account,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to draw another circle
In the third.
in the third fifths. Yep. In the third fifth. Got it?
Yep.
And then in this one, you're going to write groceries.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to stop there. There's some more elements to it, but we'll discuss them. Okay. So a key principle of the way that the system that I use is that it is really important to separate your income from your expenses.
Is that your second?
That was my
quote?
second quote. That was
Okay.
giving me a second quote.
Yeah.
So separate your income from your expenses. And that's really important because when you create a gap between your income and your expenses, that's where you learn, or not you learn, that's where you gain the ability to build something, right? Whatever it is, that's where you get the ability to achieve goals. You get the ability to dream bigger, okay? And kind of get out the rat race, as it were. Okay. And this system allows you to do that very easily, and it works at all income levels. And you do this no matter what the numbers are. Okay. So the way that it works, so your income, so these are 4 different accounts, or 5 different accounts, by the way.
Okay. So
Right.
like 5 checking accounts you're gonna have.
Well, 4 checking accounts because wealth up. I'll explain wealth up.
Oh, okay. Net worth up. We have it.
Your net worth up, yeah. But so 4 checking accounts.
Okay.
Okay, basically. So you have the checking account that all of your income goes into. So if you're a couple, both of your incomes go into this account if you're managing your money together.
Yeah.
If you're a single person, your income goes into this account. it's really important that this account doesn't have a debit card to it. You never take money out directly to spend it. It is separate. It doesn't, this account gets reset to zero every single month for us.
Mm-hmm.
The point of this account is purely to collect your income. That's it.
Yep.
Okay. No matter how your income is sourced, if you have 10 different jobs, all 10 go into this account. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Okay. Income goes here.
Any income.
Any income goes into this account. Then below that, we have house account. So into the house account is you're going to transfer what it costs for you to live. So the way we build this is we have a super, super simple Excel document that lists any expenses that we have for the year, not for the month, not for the week, for the year. And it's really important that you annualize it. Mm-hmm. We're creatures of habit. And this doesn't include big discretionary expenses. We look at that separately. But this is just basic living, like what it costs for you to live.
Why don't you read some of the examples?
Okay. So here we have your car insurance, my car insurance. We have a grocery amount. So we decide on a grocery amount. Remember, annualize it. Mm-hmm. We then have fuel. We do similar type of things. Utilities, internet, your phone, my phone, charitable contributions, Netflix, life insurance, Deezer, the music streaming thing. Yeah, we don't use Spotify.
I know.
I feel like
nobody knows what Deezer is. It's just us on there.
Mortgage payments, taxes, Seekers Food, Costco membership, credit card membership, Coho, which we'll get to, Disney streaming, cleaner, money for RESPs, for Araya's budget that she gets, and our spending money, which I'll get to spending money in a minute. That's everything listed on that account. Mm-hmm. And it's really important that you annualize it. This amount, in order for it to change, you need to sit down with your significant other and make a decision in order to change it. Mm-hmm. We set this up once a year. We sit down in January. And then if there's something that we want to add to this list, these are like ongoing expenses, we sit down and we talk about it in January. If we did without it for the last 10 years, we can do without it for another 6 months. You know, like we sit down in January and make our decision then. Okay, so that's that dollar figure, and I divide that dollar figure by 12, and that's the amount that goes from our income account into our house account every single month. Right. Okay.
So basically you have the spreadsheet, and I'm just going to use the grocery one for example, because that's the one you have to set yourself. And I feel like everyone can list like, okay, how much does my Netflix cost? It costs $10 a month, whatever, and times 12. Okay, that's easy to annualize. But I find people get kind of stuck on the food one, like groceries, like setting an amount. So I think that's where people start tracking.
Yeah.
You know, because they're like, okay, what am I spending so I know what to set the amount to, which is fair. But then like you have to just do it like a few times and set it. Sorry, set it once you figured it out.
Yeah. And you can spend whatever you want on groceries.
Yeah.
Like, you give me a number.
You can be like, I'm spending $1,000 a week. That's crazy. But you can do that if you want.
If that's, and it really depends on, there's a lot more to it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about specific numbers here. I'm talking about the system. And it is important that you set an amount. Mm-hmm. It's one of the biggest variable expenses. It's important that you set an amount. And that amount can be $1,000 a week. That's cool. That's fine. As long as you are setting the amount. And that's why I said it could lead you to bankruptcy or either way. Yeah. It's important that like you can't just, I could pick $1 million. If you don't have $1 million coming in, then obviously the budget's not going to work, right? So it needs to be reasonable, and there would be some playing around here to figure out what's appropriate for your numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, but that amount goes from the income account into the house account.
So what you do is you take the entirety of the year, so you make sure everything is like if you have the Netflix at whatever, $10 a month times 12, right? You make sure everything is annualized, each category or each item, right? And then you add it all together, and then you divide that total by 12
Correct.
because that's a monthly amount that has to go into the house account.
Correct.
Okay. Sorry. You know me, I'm a clarifier.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Clarify away. Correct. So then you have your amount. So for argument's sake, I'm going to use $6,000. Okay. So you have $6,000 every single month going into the house account. I don't know what it is, but that's what we're going to do. Okay.
Yep.
Part of this calculation into the house account is your spending money. And this is really important for you to have, even if you are paying down debt. And I know people will say lots of different things. It can be small. So if you're paying down debt, it should be small. But you need to have an amount. And this is where it's not really about the amount. It's about the fact that you have an amount. Mm-hmm. So when we were first married, that amount was what, $30?
Yeah.
Or something like that. $60 a month. It was like we had barely any room, but it was important that we put aside money to be spent on anything we wanted it to be spent on, right? And doing that again and again it shouldn't be so high that you can spend unlimited amounts of money. It should be an amount that, even if you have a higher income, that you still have to make decisions about what's important to you, because ultimately you need to align where you spend money with what's important to you. But in a couple, it's really important that each individual has an amount, because the vast majority of marriage breakdowns happen because of finances. And that resentment that happens, I see it happen with tons of people where, oh, she spent money on this or he spent money on that, and I didn't really want money being spent on that, or they didn't like that. Is poison for a relationship.
Yeah.
So it's really important that especially millennials, I would say, because we are more independent than the generation was above us. And they had issues with that. I feel like I see it a lot, like more issues with our generation than I do even with the previous generation.
Yeah.
It's important that you have something that you can spend without feeling guilt or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay? It's like, this is my allowance, like that if you're in a couple that you've both decided on.
Yeah.
You know, like if you, again, depending on your situation, let's say it's $500 a month that you're like, this is money that I can go to the store and spend all $500 on one thing if I want. I can, do whatever I want with it. And your spouse has that too. And it gives you like the ability to, just do whatever you want, as an individual, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, don't talk about numbers. Try not to use too many numbers.
Sorry.
Because I don't want people to either assume that's what our numbers are or associate that with like a place to start.
Yeah. Sorry.
So don't start with 500. Start with a conversation between you and your spouse.
I know.
On what makes sense.
I just sometimes, for me, all like finance and anything like that, I'm like, I need an example. Like I need an example to understand it or visualize it. So that's why I'm doing it. But yeah,
that's fair, because we'll use $500 for this illustration, like this numbers, but just it's not $500. It could be It could be $10,000. You make a decision, you have a conversation about it. Okay. So that's part of what goes into that house account. Okay. And then from that house account, you pay those spending accounts. So we had that spending account on the right here. For us, we have a spending account each. First off, I would say all of our accounts are joint. Every single one of our accounts are joint, but they are labeled. Yeah. Right. So I have an account called Trey's Spending. Cease has an account called Cease's Spending. We have a account called House Account. Okay. We have an account called Income Account. So everything is joint, but there are accounts that Cease can spend from. Whatever she wants, I can't say anything about it. I have an account that I can spend from. Cease whatever I want. Cease can't say anything about it. If I wanted something really big and it was more than 1 month of allowance, I would have to save up for that one thing. If I wanted to put nice brand new rims on my car, I would have to save up for those rims. If Cease wanted to go buy the nicest MBTI book she could find.
What MBTI book is that?
I don't know. But if she wanted to go buy that type of book, she would just save up and go buy the book. Okay. So that's really important that there's a spending amount. And then the grocery amount, as we already spoke about, is the one that tends to fluctuate the most. So when I say you don't track expenses, you set them, this is where it really shows between these two discretionary categories. So we use a company called Coho, and it's basically a prepaid MasterCard that in a moment's notice, I can bring up on my phone and I can see how much we have left for groceries.
And not just groceries, we also do like
food,
any
right?
food. So if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna swing by like what bar burrito on the way home,
Yeah.
that's coming out of the food account, right?
Yeah.
Like we budget for the groceries, any eating out, any restaurants, any food or drink consumption.
Yeah, pretty much. And if we can absolutely go over that amount, but where does it come from?
Our own spending.
Exactly. It does not then come from the house account. The house account is sacred. You do not touch the house account unless unless that expense is listed on your Excel spreadsheet, right?
Yeah.
That's be all end all of it, right? Like you do not touch that account unless that's the case.
Yeah.
So that's what we get transferred into the groceries, and it means food is an area that you can spend whatever you want on. So it means that there are always trade-offs. There are decisions that we have to make, but we have shrunk the consequences instead of being because we made this decision, we can't meet our financial goals. It's because we made this decision, now we have to wait 2 days to get our money back into that grocery account.
Yes.
We've shrunken the consequence of our actions and it allows us to correct course very quickly.
Yeah.
Right. And I would say there are often times that we go over the grocery amount and we just pay for it out of our spending account. Never once, though, have we gone over the grocery account and gone over our spending account, because they're the only two places that we can take money from, and we haven't at this point. We have high enough amounts going into them that we're covered. So again, the point is that you set the amount. That account, we can watch it go to zero. Goes to zero every 2 weeks is what most 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It goes to zero because we spend it all, and that's absolutely fine. It's great.
Yeah. To be fair, have you seen the prices of groceries?
Yeah, they've gone up. We do need to increase that a bit. But then saying that, we've also done fine. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Catch 22. Okay, so that's those accounts. The last account that I spoke about is net worth up. And this isn't really an account. This is what this money needs to achieve. So everything left in the income account goes into this, I'm going to say account for now. So I hear you say, what's in that account?
What's in that account, Drake?
Oh, great question. So this account would be if you have consumer debt, that's where this is going, right? That entire amount. If you still need an emergency fund, that's where this money is going. Once that emergency fund is capped, though, no more money goes into that emergency fund, and it goes into a portfolio. It goes into an investing portfolio. Doesn't go specifically for retirement. Doesn't go specifically just in case the car breaks down, just in case the furnace goes. No, that is when you are thinking way too small. When you are thinking, oh, I need to save money for
specific what
ifs, because them what ifs will happen eventually, but that money has also been sitting around doing nothing for a very long time while you figure out what those what ifs are. You want to get to the point where you have enough in your emergency fund to cover those what ifs, and when that what if happens, you, instead of that net worth up account being put towards, or what's left being put towards your TFSA to max it out, let's say, you would refill your savings account, your emergency savings account.
Yeah.
So this, when I say net worth up, the point of this is that it's everything that doesn't need to be spent today goes into this account. And then big decisions are made annually with your financial planner. So, for example, I'll sit down with clients and we'll decide how much we're doing into RSP contributions, but we'll make that decision based on what optimizes taxes, not just putting an arbitrary amount aside for retirement,
Mm-hmm.
because your retirement will be funded not just by RSPs. It'll be funded by
The portfolio.
your portfolio, what your financial assets. And that doesn't mean that there is one perfect place for those assets, because there's lots of things that you can be investing for that aren't retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with a lot of people that, especially when they first work with me, and I'm very big on, yeah, you max out your TFSAs and then we start a non-registered account, which is like most people don't even know what that is,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just investments that aren't in a registered account. Like that's literally what it non-registered account, but it provides flexibility. And the reason I stress doing that type of thing is to learn you don't just invest for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Investing, building a portfolio is not for retirement. It's for your next vehicle, to take the kids on vacation, to buy a nicer car, whatever the heck you want it to be.
Basically, like I love the way you describe it as an opportunity account where you have the money it's doing what it should be doing. It's not just sitting there for you, like it's working still because it's invested. Sorry, I don't know why I'm like, it's the smoke. It's very smoky here right now. I think I'm really sensitive to it. Anyway, um, having the opportunity to like take advantage of things that come up, like your dream house that just came on the market, for example, and you're like, oh, good thing I'm saving or not saving for this, but the opportunity has arisen. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but now I can take advantage of it because I've set aside this money to grow my net worth and I can use it for what I want.
Exactly. And it means that decisions about spending from that are made together, jointly. Like you're weighing the pros and cons, that yes, you could go and spend the money on whatever, like let's say you wanted to landscape your garden.
Mm-hmm.
I would, well, we'll talk about this in the next podcast, because that's going to be the $400,000 plus. But the way that you want to run your finances and make spending decisions isn't based on let's spend every month every single dollar that we possibly can. You want to say, will this make me happy? Will it impact my long-term financial goals? If the answer is good for both of those things, then you can make a decision. But if you do not learn to be content with what you have, you will never be content.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather be the individual with $1 million in my account spending whatever makes me happy than being that's a bad way to, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
The individual who earns $100,000 and spends $100,000 will feel poorer than the individual that earns $80,000 and only spends 70 because that's all they want to spend.
Mm-hmm.
If you never hit that point of this is all I really want to spend, this amount of consumption makes me happy, no matter what you earn, it will never be enough.
Mm-hmm. You'll never be happy.
You'll never be happy.
You're just going
You'll
to
never
keep
be what you
chasing
have.
that high. Like
You're chasing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. You will not be happy. The cars will not make you happy, right? Like as humans, we know there are certain things that make us happy, and a lot of that is connection. It's family. There's lots of things that do make us happy. Money makes things a lot easier,
mm-hmm.
guaranteed. But there is a level of consumption that is enough.
Yeah.
Right? It is enough. And if you're the type of person that you just, it's the love of money, the love of stuff, like you always must spend everything that's coming in, that you have other issues. Mm-hmm. Like it is. And I know people will say like, oh, but nobody has money to put aside. And it's very sad to hear it, because like that individual that's earning $100,000, let's say, and they're like, well, I don't have any money to set aside. Well, then that would mean that the individual earning $90,000 would have to be in $10,000 of debt.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case. That's not how it works. It's the fact that the person, if they had earned $90,000, guess what? They'd have spent $90,000.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd earned 110, guess what they'd have spent?
Yeah.
110. 150, guess what they'd have spent? 150. And it's that constant just spending everything that you possibly can is the complete lack of self-control. And that's That's the kicker. That's the part that it is self-control. But it is easier, much easier with a system,
Yeah.
for sure. Because then it means that as your income, so as this first account goes up, as your income goes up, it's not automatically applied to your expenses and your spending.
Hmm.
And if it is applied to your expenses and your spending, it's a decision.
Yeah.
And that's really important. That's really what this system is about. It's about the
The
the easiest
pause.
thing, yeah, and the easiest thing being the like it going towards your net worth, that being the automatic thing. And in order to interrupt that, you have to make a movement to interrupt that. You have
Hmm.
to do something that physically intervenes with that. And normally for people, it's the other way around, where the thing that they have to physically intervene to do. Perfect. We got interrupted, so we will try to remember where we left off. I think I was talking. I don't remember now, but anyway, that's why you keep it separate. I guess
Yeah.
the net worth is should be the easiest thing for you to be funneling your excess money towards, versus it just going to consumer versus you consuming it, and you consuming it is not a problem as long as it is a decision. And you can, and we have so much great technology, we can basically look into the future and see the consequences of that decision. So it means that everybody can be making an informed decision. Okay. And a lot of people will say, well, what do I do with this money? That part is the easy part. I know it's difficult for a lot of people to conceptualize, but what to do with your money that you don't want to spend now can be automated. It can be very simple, very easy. You just have to do it. Just that's a different podcast, different topic that we will get to at some point, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be hard. But this is the fundamentals of it. Separate your income from your expenses, automate it so you have the money going into your house account, and then you have the money in your spending. So the other part to this is credit cards. Let's talk about them. I love them. I know a lot of planners and stuff don't love them for lots of different reasons. If you're not a person that can pay off your credit card in full every single month, do not have a credit card, not worth it. But for people that can, if you can use it well and you don't pay interest, etc., they're great. How do we use credit cards? This is the one manual process that I have to do every single month. There are other ways if you wanted to make it as easier, but there are trade-offs.
Hmm.
So the way that I do it is I download the
Statement.
transactions, the statement into Excel, and then I separate, just like we have accounts here, I separate out columns in Excel, and I just drag the amounts into the appropriate columns. So if it's under your spending, if it's under my spending, if it's under like spending that so the way that we manage house stuff, for instance, is we just split it 50-50,
Yeah.
basically. So if
Like if
something,
I'm like, oh, I want to put up these live edge shelves, and you're like,
yeah, fun. But that is a discussion that we'll have, right? So
yeah,
some things, if it's not as valuable for me, or I want something that you don't really want, maybe we'll split it 70-30. Whatever it is, it's a conversation that we have. But those transactions go into the appropriate column. Again, they're just added up, and the credit card is paid from, like, we pay it from the income account, because by that point it's at zero, and then we have to transfer into that account anything that we spend. So it comes, from the house account for any, like, all of the streaming services and all that stuff. Let's say it comes to $500 for the month. Well, we'll take $500 from the house account into the income account.
yeah,
If there is $1,000 of spending, each of us for the month, then we'll take $1,000 from your spending account, $1,000 from mine, but the numbers will be exact. So whatever it is, it's on an Excel spreadsheet. We equals sum, opening bracket, highlight all the lists, closing bracket, hit enter if you don't know how to use the sum function. And that's your number. That's what goes in, and it gets paid credit card in full every single month.
Yeah.
Okay, so this structure is very similar to how a business operates. Businesses have been running for a very, very long time. You will never see a successful business the way that some people manage their personal finances, where you just hope and pray that the money is in the account.
Yeah.
You'll often find that like department heads, for instance, are assigned a budget that isn't directly correlated to how much income is coming in. They have a budget that they can spend, can't go over budget, right?
Mhm.
And it's the very similar principle that there is an amount that can be spent on these line items, can't go over that budget. But if
Yep.
you decide those line items, can't stress how important that is.
Yeah.
And this system works if you had $100,000 a month going into that income account,
Or
or
20,000.
well, not you still went with a high number. I was going with like a low number, like $2,000 a
Oh,
month
sorry.
going into that income account.
You're like,
The,
that's still kind of high.
yeah, yeah. So any amount this works. This works through all different types of income levels. Use it. I don't know. And it might take a little bit for you to get the hang of it. A lot of people won't like it because it forces ownership very quickly.
Mm.
Like you can see if you're overdoing it, and the consequences are quick. They happen very quickly. If you overspend in your spending account, you can't go out and spend more. There's no money to,
Yeah.
right? And again, this is partly where the self-discipline lies, but it will get easier. You once you spend it, it's spent. Like there's like
Yeah.
there is no like, but you make it in shorter term, so it's not as there's I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Basically, like, you have to learn how to say no to an extent. If, like, you mentioned our early marriage days, people would like say, "Hey, do you want to come out for supper at this expensive restaurant?" And we would say, "No, sorry, we
But we'll meet
can't."
up afterwards.
Yeah, I'm like, "Let's go for a walk. Let's do, like, let's play cards. Let's do something that doesn't require spending so much." So, like, you can't always do everything free, but, or, oh, let's go for coffee instead, like something smaller. You have to, like, think more creatively instead of, and again, it's not that we didn't want to do those things. Sometimes it was really hard to say no. I'm not saying that we were just like, nah, like, we don't want to anyway. A lot of those things I was, it was hard to say no to, but we had to say no. You have to say no to something. A saying that I like, a trademark C saying, since we've gone through some of Trey's, is every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. So when you keep that frame of mind, remembering that what you say yes to has to be important to you, it should align with your values, like you said, in everything, but in finance specifically here, it'll make you happy. You'll find that contentment that we talked about.
Hmm. And back then it was we wanted to go on vacation,
Yeah.
right? So it was a case of like it truly was a direct. If we say yes to this, we're saying no to that. Well, that is a lot more important to us than this. So we picked what we felt was more important to us,
Yeah.
and this model allows you to do that. And this is why I say, like, this doing it this way, you don't notice the impact immediately. And a lot of people will be like, but you're not saving for those, like specifically for those like scary items and things like that. It's like, I agree, that might seem scary, but most people's income goes up, and you should be, as long as you keep this structure, as your income goes up, that gap will just get bigger and bigger. And you'll go from in that net worth up account, you'll go from it being $200, $50, $100 to, well, let me rephrase that. It will go from being $128.36 because if it's a round number, you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
To $243 to $576 to $1,341.16. Like you'll find it will go up, and that is where that is that gap that you'll build. That's really the power behind it. But
Yeah.
that's what we'll cut off this episode. The next episode will actually be, I did want to do a few more, but we're going to do the like what we do episodes, but we're going to do the $400,000 and up budgeting. So we'll cover that off and finalize those ones, and then the following ones we'll do like investment products and investing, what we do, and we'll talk about that and go through what's in my portfolio, what I use. So yeah, perfect. Well, we will see you in the next one. Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Plain English Finance Podcast. Trey Bino, Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Investment Manager, is a financial planner with TC Wealth Management and Aviso Wealth. You should always consult with your financial, legal, and tax advisors before making changes. This podcast is provided as a general source of information and should not be considered personal investment advice or solicitation to buy or sell any securities. The views expressed are those of the individual and are not necessarily those of Aviso Financial Inc. Mutual funds and other securities offered through Aviso Wealth, a division of Aviso Financial Inc.